We grow when we give.
We grow when we give.
We grow when we give.
Nosotros crecemos cuando damos.
We grow when we give.
与えるとき成長する。
We grow when we give.
Welcome to R.O.G, Return on Generosity, a podcast celebrating generosity at work. Not financial giving, giving valuable time, alternative perspectives, and genuine collaboration. Welcome to R.O.G. This episode is focused on energy management. Unlike time, energy is something that we can control, or at least be more mindful of how we are leveraging it. Because very often we think, what I need is more time. I need time management tools and skills and methodologies. I need more time in the day. I wish I had more time. But what we don't often think about is, how energized am I in the time that I have? And energy is something that we can be really strategic and mindful about. So in this episode, we're going to talk about the 4 areas of energy and how we have to exercise and recover in each of those 4 areas. So if some of you are as old as I am, you remember this song from Blood, Sweat, and Tears called Spinning Wheel. What goes up must go down. So when we have energy out, think of peaks and valleys. So the peak, the uphill part of that oscillation, which is a word we're going to talk about today, is energy out. And we very often refer to that as stress. Stress typically has a bad name or a bad rap, like you're so stressful, or this is so stressful, or I'm so stressed. And generally speaking, that's something that we would put in like a negative. But if we look at energy out as stress, which is the utility of your energy, the way that you're engaging something. So it could be that you're presenting at an event or at a meeting, that you're having a conversation, that you're finishing a project, that you're really thinking hard on something. You might even be working on your P&L or, some kind of an analysis. And so that's energy out, that's stress. And so that's the upside of the peak. And then if we kind of think about how that comes down, like a valley, what goes up must come down, that is called strategic recovery. And in that space, that's where we restore, refuel, recharge our energy. And so very often what we do as highly productive professionals is we have energy out, and then we run to Starbucks for a Frappuccino, latte, mocha. Obviously, I don't go to Starbucks, so I just butchered that order. But, a Red Bull or something where we I need more caffeine or something so that I can just keep going energy out. And that we just want that peak to get higher and higher. But what would be smarter and actually much more effective and sustainable and healthy is to think of it like oscillation. Healthy things oscillate. Like you breathe in and you breathe out. The waves come in and they go out. The sun rises and it sets. Like healthy things that are alive and well oscillate, which means what goes up must come down. So when you're thinking about that restoration or strategic recovery is a better way to look at that, that's energy in, so that you can then have energy out. And so energy in, we very often think of things like vacations and massages and bigger kinds of energy restores. And we think, okay, I'm going to go on this 1 week long vacation and I will have enough energy to sustain all of those peaks throughout the rest of the year. And that's just not the case. We're not going to get 51 weeks out of one. So what we have to think about is throughout each day, how are we strategically recovering? How are you managing your energy? Not your time, your energy. So that way, when you have the time allocated and invested in certain things, be it a conversation, a project, or alone time, you have the energy needed to really be present, focused, and enjoy that experience. So there are 4 kinds of energy. This is the E in Vibe, my book Vibe. The E, the final chapter, is about energy management. And this content is the property of the Human Performance Institute. The The Human Performance Institute is an incredible organization. It actually was recently purchased by J&J, Johnson & Johnson, and they talk about energy management. There's actually even an assessment that I'll put in the show notes for you to enjoy, and that will also lead you to their website. So that's where I learned this content originally. And there's these 4 energy sources. There's physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. So throughout each day, we want to be thinking about how are we stressing or doing energy out in those 4 areas, and then how are we strategically recovering throughout the day. So for physical energy, some restoration could be obviously sleep, hydration, good nutrition, exercise, stretching. For emotional energy, what restoration could look like is laughing, having a great conversation, connecting with a friend, being listened to and heard and understood, being inspired. Maybe you read an inspirational quote or something. Mental energy, some restoration there could be like just taking a break. I think that's why some of us watch, certain TV shows that we're like, oh, I'm not really learning anything, but it's just a brain break, or just going outside, thinking about nothing, maybe even looking at pictures of your family or your pets or things that you love. That could just give your mind a break and you can just focus. Also, positively anticipating what's coming next is another way to get a mental break, because even though it's kind of energy out, it's preparing you mentally for what's next. And then spiritual energy restoration could be things like prayer, meditation, silence, journaling, breathing exercises. It could also be being mindful and intentional about your purpose. Like, what am I here to do? What is my mission? I know that feels like such a big question, and we've talked about this on R.O.G many times, is having purpose and intention. But I want us to think about spiritual energy restoration as connecting the things that you're doing to the things that you know you are designed to do, like the reason why you're here. Because I think when we find meaning in our work and in our lives and our relationships, it's really energy producing, and it's exciting to know that we're on track with the things that we've been designed to do, the reasons why we're here. So energy in, energy out for physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual energy. And there's more information if you take the assessment, and you also check out Vibe. But really, what's behind the scenes with all of this are habits, and we are such creatures of habit. I think I'm going to do a whole episode just on habits. But for us to think about how can we build the habit of strategic recovery throughout the day, not just on the weekends and on our birthday and our 1-week vacation, but throughout the day, every day. What could you do today that would give you that energy in? Think of it like breathing in so that you can breathe out, that healthy oscillation that will help you to be healthier, more present, more energized, focused, and frankly, more generous. Stay generous, everyone.
Thanks for listening to R.O.G, Return on Generosity podcast. Please help us grow by subscribing and reviewing us on your favorite podcast player. And for more information, visit bridgebetween.com. We grow when we give.
우리는 나누면서 성숙합니다.
We grow when we give.
On rayonne quand on donne.
We grow when we give.